how do we have all of these talk shows about food? And how do we have these like really sort of nuanced conversations about the minutia of food and just like get super, super into it and have this be sort of our hobby when at the same time we realize that there's so many people who don't know where their next meal is going to come from. Hey, I'm Father Mark Mary with the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, and this is Ascension Presents. We're going to talk about the foodie question or the foodie problem. How do we have a healthy and appropriate relationship to food, but also to our brother or sister who struggles to have enough food, who struggles to have their daily bread? Like, what does this look like? And probably 10 or 11 years ago, I leaned pretty heavily towards like a bit of a negative, critical, like, you just got to eat the bare minimum, whatever you need, and then we got to take care of the poor. And once all of the poor are fed, then you can sort of get into it more and start adding whatever butter to your toast, right? That's a little bit of hyperbole, but that's kind of actually where I was. Food can't actually just be reduced to fuel. Like, food is fuel, but it's not just fuel. It's not, like, food's just not there for us to be able to live. It does play that part, and it does play that part in helping us live and thrive and be healthy and all of that. But it's not just that, right? Like, food is one of the gifts the Lord has given us. Receiving and enjoying and cultivating and being good stewards of creation. Yeah, that's Christian. Like, that's good. That's of value. And also, right, food is often at the center of the building of relationships. It's at the center of family. It's a way in which we can express love, we can receive love. It's the context around the dinner table in which we can grow together in relationship, in communion, as family, as friends, etc. And that is 100% a significant value. We could say the same about shelter or about like fashion, right? Like, you wouldn't want to reduce like your house to just shelter, just there to protect you from the elements, and all you need is this concrete brick house and call it a day. Like, no, like having a beautiful home and a beautiful space where you live and live as family, yeah, you know what? Like, there's value to having a beautiful home as well. And also, right, like, you wouldn't want to just reduce like clothing to protecting yourself again, like from the elements, and we should all wear like these denim jumpsuits all the time because it's the most durable. Like, you know, there's an appropriate way in which to enjoy fashion and in which that can be a receiving and a glorifying of God as well, right? Like, and so that's real. And I do hold that. Like, you don't want to just reduce food to fuel, and that there is a value to really enjoying it, and there is an appropriate way in which you can get into it. But also, world hunger and poverty is real, right? And we don't want to be Christians who talk about food or have like a tone deaf relationship with food. And tone deafness, right? It's like where you talk about something or in a given situation, but it's missing the broader context. It's inappropriate because it's out of the proper context. And you could see that, right? Like, when you turn on the cooking channel and there's all these people eating all of this food, like, what does that look like to these, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of parents who don't know where like the next meal for their kids is going to come from? How would they perceive that? My feeling is that would be pretty hurtful and even sort of shocking, particularly from Christians, right? Because as Christians, we know that we have a relationship with everybody, that we share one common Father, and therefore we're brothers and sisters with the whole world. And we have a Christian mandate to hear the cry of the poor. We have a Christian mandate to love and to serve, provide for both the spiritual and the material needs of the poor. So the poverty is real, and the struggle is real. There is an appropriate way in which to receive and to enjoy the fruits of creation. How this balance comes together, honestly, I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all. For me, I felt this in such a way that I really did want to give my life totally to the service of the poor. And I want to, like, I have this image of this mother with multiple kids who doesn't know how to feed them. Like, I really want, at the day of judgment, to be able to say, like, I did everything I could for that mother. Like, I gave my whole life to serving the poor and responding to the cry of the poor. What this looks like, though, for you who are a mom and dad or you who are a college student, like, it might not be that radical, and that might be okay. Like, we want to do what the Lord invites us to. So I don't think what I can offer to you is like, do X, Y, and Z, and you'll be set. What I do think I can offer you is an invitation to an examination of your disposition. Are you mindful? And do you care about the poor? Are you in touch with that reality? And your closet, your home, your Instagram feed, your pantry, are these at all tone deaf to the cry of the poor? And can you have a conversation with the Lord about it? Is there a way in which He is inviting you to a greater response to the needs of the poor? And I'm going to share this with you as an examination, and I do it with somewhat of a hesitation because I want to make sure it's made with the Spirit of God and not an accusing spirit. And so before you make this sort of examination, I'm going to invite you to definitely invite the Holy Spirit, who consoles, who convicts, but also who convicts with hope, right? And the examination is this, is in your imagination, in your prayer, you can do it physically though, like go through your pantry, go through your home, go through your closet, within your imagination, one of these parents or one of these children who don't know where their next meal is going to come from. And just just go through it and share what it is and show what it is. And have in your prayer and in your imagination, pay attention to what you think the response is. And why I like this is because I think it's a good way to say to ask the question why. Okay, why do you have this? Well, because X, Y, and Z. And if you have a good reason, you have a good reason. If you can give your why, and you can still look at this person right in your imagination with confidence, look them in the eye, it's okay, you can probably have peace about it. And if you go through your closet and you have your 30 different sets of shoes or whatever it is, and you start to feel a little guilty conscience, okay, well maybe pay attention to that. And maybe make a resolution, not to get more shoes in the immediate future. Maybe make the resolution to okay, what I would spend, what my shoe budget is for this year, I'm not going to spend, and I'm going to give it to the poor. And I think if you do it, you have a pen and paper out, you do it with the Lord, I think it'll be hard. And I think it'll be challenging. But also, I don't think you want to be a Christian who's tone deaf. And I don't think we want to have a church which is tone deaf to the real situation of poverty in the world. So do it with the Lord. And now lastly this, right? When the Holy Spirit comes in the situations, He doesn't just accuse and beat down and make us feel shame or guilt, but invites to an action step. And so that's what I want this to do. I do think there is space to being convicted if we're not living in touch with reality, particularly the reality of the poor. But I do think there's space for response. And the response isn't just to clean out your closet and give everything away. I don't think that's going to really solve the problem. To look forward, have some budget of what you're going to spend, what you actually need, to take an inventory like that. And then pay attention to what you can allocate, what you can save to actually give to the poor. And as I mentioned last week, we're just kind of at the tail end of this campaign, the Grow the Circle campaign. The problem with the world is that we draw the circle of family too small. Mother Teresa, a way to feed children, right? $21 donation, it feeds a child in its place of education for a year. This $21, instead of buying this $150 pair of shoes that you don't really need, can you make a $150 donation and feed 7 children, help them get an education for a whole year? Okay, take an inventory, budget out what you don't need, and really kind of push what you don't need. And with what you save, can you give it to the poor and make a difference that way? And to live as a Christian who isn't tone deaf to the world, who isn't tone deaf to the cry of the poor. Thanks for watching. Thanks for praying. Thanks for giving. Again, www.marysmealsusa.org/grow if you want to give and continue to support the campaign. Thank you for taking it serious. Thank you for watching. Thank you for praying. Thank you for inviting the Holy Spirit to convict you and to console you and to encourage you and to guide you in your life. And we'll look forward to being with you again next week. Remember, we are pilgrims on this earth. Somos peregrinos poco a poco, little by little. Vamos a llegar. We're going to make it. God bless y'all. Peace.